Learn English through story. A Lover's Deceit. The town of Claremont was a peaceful place, nestled between rolling hills and deep forests, with cobblestone streets that echoed with the laughter of its people. In this serene town, a tale of love and betrayal was about to unfold. Isabel Hartman was the daughter of a respected merchant in Claremont. Her beauty was renowned far and wide, with cascading dark hair and bright green eyes that shone like emeralds. But it wasn't just her beauty that captured the attention of many, it was her kind heart, her quick wit, and her deep sense of loyalty to her friends and family. Isabel's world was one of comfort and security, surrounded by wealth and privilege, but she had always yearned for something more, a deeper connection, an all-consuming love. One spring afternoon, that desire seemed to materialize in the form of Victor Montrose, a mysterious traveler who arrived in Claremont. Victor was unlike anyone Isabel had ever met. He was tall, with striking dark features, eyes that gleamed with intelligence, and a smile that could disarm the most guarded of souls. He claimed to be a poet, traveling from city to city, seeking inspiration for his work. From the moment they met, Victor captivated Isabel. He was a master of conversation, weaving tales of far-off lands, romantic encounters, and philosophies on love that enchanted her. She found herself drawn to his enigmatic nature, his passion for life, and the way he seemed to understand her in a way no one else had before. He filled her world with excitement and intrigue, things she had longed for in her otherwise predictable life. Before long, Isabel and Victor became inseparable. They would spend long days walking through the meadows outside of Claremont, talking about their dreams, their desires, and what they both envisioned for the future. Victor painted a picture of a life filled with adventure, a life they could share together away from the confines of the town. For Isabel, it was intoxicating. She had fallen deeply, hopelessly in love. However, not everyone in Claremont was as charmed by Victor as Isabel. Her closest friend, Margaret, a level-headed and practical woman, had her suspicions. Margaret had seen men like Victor before, charming, smooth-talking wanderers who promised the world but often left chaos in their wake. She watched as Isabel became more and more entangled in Victor's web, her sense of judgment clouded by her infatuation. "Isabel," Margaret said one evening as they sat by the fireplace in Isabel's home, "I know you're smitten with Victor, but something about him doesn't sit right with me. He seems too good to be true. Do you know anything about his past, where he's really from?" Isabel bristled at the question. "Why must you always be so suspicious, Margaret?" "Victor is different. He loves me, and I love him. He wants to take me away from here, to show me the world. Don't you see? This is everything I've ever wanted." Margaret sighed, seeing the hopelessness in trying to reason with her friend. "I just want you to be careful. Love can blind us, and sometimes we don't see the truth until it's too late." Isabel dismissed Margaret's concerns, too entranced by Victor's charm to entertain any doubt. She continued to meet Victor in secret, planning their future together. He spoke of taking her to Paris, Venice, and beyond. Isabel was ready to give up everything for him, including her family, her home, and the life she had always known. One evening, as the sun set over the town and the air grew cool, Victor arrived at Isabel's home with a sense of urgency in his eyes. He told her that they needed to leave immediately. There was a ship docked at the nearby port that would take them to their new life. "Isabel, we cannot wait any longer. I've secured us passage on a ship to France. If we stay here, your father will never let us be together." "We must go now," Victor pleaded, his voice laced with desperation. Isabel's heart raced with excitement and fear. This was the moment she had dreamed of, the chance to escape and begin her new life. She packed her belongings quickly, leaving behind a letter for her family, explaining that she was leaving to pursue love and adventure. She believed with every fiber of her being that Victor was her destiny. They left Claremont under the cover of night, riding towards the port where the ship awaited them. As they approached the docks, Isabel's excitement grew, but there was also a strange sense of unease gnawing at her. She pushed the feeling aside, trusting Victor and the love they shared. When they arrived at the ship, Victor handed a bag of gold to a man who appeared to be the ship's captain. Isabel stood by, watching the exchange, but something felt off. The man didn't look like a captain, and his clothes were tattered, and his demeanor was rough. Victor, however, seemed unfazed. As they boarded the ship, Isabel's unease grew stronger. The ship was not the grand vessel she had imagined. It was small, dilapidated, and reeked of salt and decay. Victor assured her that it was only a temporary means of travel, but Isabel's intuition screamed that something was terribly wrong. That night, as the ship set sail, Isabel confronted Victor. "Why does this ship feel so wrong? Who are these men? You promised me a new life, Victor, but this doesn't feel right." Victor's face darkened. "Isabel, you must trust me. This is the only way for us to be together. You wanted adventure, didn't you?" Isabel's heart sank as the realization began to creep in. She had been so blinded by her love for Victor that she had ignored the warning signs, the inconsistencies, and the doubts. She looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the cracks in his facade. His charm now felt hollow, his words laced with manipulation. The next morning, the true nature of Victor's deceit was revealed. Isabel awoke to find herself alone in the small cabin they had shared. Her belongings were gone, as was Victor. Panic gripped her as she rushed to the deck, only to find that the ship was not heading to France at all. The men on board were not sailors but smugglers, and Isabel was now a pawn in their illicit trade. Victor had sold her. Betrayed, heartbroken, and trapped, Isabel realized the full extent of Victor's treachery. He had never loved her. She had been nothing more than a means to an end, a prize to be traded for his own gain. The man who had promised her the world had stolen her future and her freedom. For weeks, Isabel remained on the ship, her spirit broken but her will to survive growing stronger with each passing day. She refused to let Victor's betrayal define her. She would find a way out, no matter the cost. Eventually, the ship docked at a foreign port, and Isabel seized her opportunity to escape. With nothing but her wits and her determination, she fled into the unfamiliar city, vowing to never again be a victim of deceit. She found refuge with a kind local family who helped her rebuild her life, and over time, she regained her strength. Isabel never returned to Claremont. The town and its memories were too painful to revisit, but she carried with her the lessons she had learned from Victor's betrayal. She learned that love, while powerful, could also be a weapon when wielded by the wrong hands. She learned the importance of trusting herself, of listening to her instincts, and of never giving her heart too freely without first ensuring that the person who held it was worthy. Years later, Isabel became a successful merchant in her own right, known not just for her business acumen but for her wisdom. She often spoke to young women about the dangers of blindly following one's heart, cautioning them to be mindful of those who offered grand promises but lacked substance. And as for Victor, his fate remained a mystery. Some said he was eventually caught and imprisoned for his crimes. Others believed he continued his life of deceit, always on the run, always searching for his next victim. But Isabel no longer cared. She had reclaimed her life, her dignity, and her strength. In the end, it wasn't Victor's deceit that defined Isabel, but her ability to rise above it, to forge a new path for herself, and to become stronger than she had ever been before. The pain of betrayal had been deep, but the lessons it taught her were invaluable. And in that, Isabel found her true power. Love can blind us to the truth, but when we open our eyes, we must have the courage to walk away from those who deceive us. Trust must be earned, and it is through our trials that we learn to discern between true love and mere illusion. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.